Donald Trump over the weekend has done something that was inconceivable for a president to do before Donald Trump. But now that every day is a scandal, it doesn't even get the attention that it deserves. Everything has changed. And in a completely incoherent way that only Donald Trump can do things, Donald Trump started to foment rebellion on Twitter and at his press briefings against the public health measures to slow the spread of coronavirus, supporting the completely dangerous and ignorant protests of the InfoWars types, of the Don't Tread on Me types, of the MAGA people who are mass gathering without masks, without social distancing, to demand that their states reopen in the midst of the current coronavirus pandemic, as many of these states are seeing rapidly, on a percentage basis, rapidly increasing cases. Donald Trump tweeting over the weekend as the protests mount, quote, "Liberate Minnesota, liberate Michigan, liberate Virginia, and save your great Second Amendment. It is under siege." Few things can make people turn to violence like a Republican president telling his followers that their gun rights are under siege. Then Trump defending the protesters during his press briefings, despite their completely irresponsible lack of social distancing and masks. Trump defending them, saying, hey, listen, some of these restrictions are too tough.
Well, I think we do have a sobering guidance, but I think some things are too tough. And if you look at some of the states you just mentioned, it's too tough, not only relative to this, but what they've done in Virginia with respect to the Second Amendment is just a horrible thing. They did a horrible thing, the governor. And he's a governor under a cloud to start off with. So when you see what he said about the Second Amendment, when you see what other states have done, no, I think I feel very comfortable. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to be clear, when you talk about these states, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, do you think that they should lift their stay-at-home orders, or can you talk?
No, but I think elements of what they've done are too much. I mean, it's just too much. You know the elements because I've already said.
Sir, are you concerned, though, that people coming out in protest are going to spread COVID to other people? They're congregating in ways that health experts have said they should not.
No, these are people expressing their views. I see where they are, and I see the way they're working. They seem to be very responsible people to me. But it's, they've been treated a little bit rough.
There it is. The protesters are being treated roughly. The people in states are being treated roughly. But the behavior of the protesters at mass rallies, when there are distancing guidelines from the federal government, that's all fine, apparently. Now, understand how incomprehensible this is. First, Trump claimed to have absolute authority over the states, which he doesn't have. Eventually, somebody clearly got to Trump and said, listen, you don't have the authority. So Trump did a 180, and in his plan to reopen, he said, this is all totally up to the governors, which is true, it is. But now Trump is supporting rebellion against the governors who Trump said he is confident in to do the right thing. This is much worse than merely egging on protesters in a vacuum, which is bad enough. Trump is actually encouraging people to violate the guidelines, which he set at the federal level and has asked states to follow. He's encouraging risky behavior from a public health perspective. It's going to lead to more infections and deaths. It's just a matter of math. This language of liberating states, he's using language which can only serve to encourage horrible behavior. And then Trump's tweets equally erratic throughout the weekend, including a bunch of tweets going after states about them having to do more testing, which is hilarious because all along Trump's argument has been testing is perfect and it's because of him. Now, when it becomes undeniable that we simply don't have enough testing to reopen, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow, Trump starts sending tweets out about how, listen, these state governors really have to get testing figured out. And then around the same time as he sent those liberation tweets, he included attacks on the World Health Organization, another scapegoat now for his terrible leadership, as well as going after Democrats like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, claiming they're on vacation, when, of course, they're no more on vacation than, Congressman Dan Crenshaw and every Republican and Democrat in the House and Senate, all of whom are simply in their districts right now during the quarantine rather than in Washington, D.C. So this was never funny. It was always horrifying. But now it's extra not funny as it becomes more and more dangerous. And there will be more death as a result of this. And unfortunately, it's increasingly looking like there will be violence as a result of this at some point as well, if it hasn't started already. And we will soon hear about it. Follow us on Instagram for continued coverage of all of these whacked out protests. We are at David Pakman Show on Instagram. Today's program is sponsored in part by the Galaxy series, which is a series of 3 books written by a really great author, Ithal. And I would call the genre sort of political science fiction. I've really enjoyed the books. It looks at the future. It explores what could happen to planet Earth if we stay on our path environmentally. It deals with space travel. It takes a sort of deep dive into political psychology. And it's a really intriguing, sort of dystopian look at the future. The stories are told from a perspective that I think people in the audience would really appreciate. And there's a ton of really excellent artwork also that accompanies the books. I read a lot of books in this genre, and I'll tell you, these books are very well written. The plot, the characters are compelling. If you're someone who likes politics and sci-fi, you'll really like these books. Again, it's the Galaxy series. Check it out for yourself. You can find it at davidpakman.com/galaxy.